Prime Minister Sheikh calls on armed forces to prioritize those who believe in the spirit of liberation war and have patriotism in the case of promotion in armed forces. Condolence motion over deaths of members of Parliament Muhammad Abdul Quddus and Rebecca Momin adopted as 24th session of 11th Jatiyo সংসদ begins. President Mohammad Shahabuddin leaves Dhaka tomorrow for Indonesia to join 43rd ASEAN Summit and 18th East Asia Summit. BNP is busy in forging conspiracies to make election questionable and making intentional comments on election schedule, says Obaidul Qadir. BNP intends to ruin constitutional continuity and democracy, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Movement of vehicles on the first elevated expressway of the country begins with drivers and passengers expressing positivity. Ukraine claims to have destroyed 22 Russian drones in an overnight attack on southern Odessa region. And Afghanistan batting for winning target of 335 runs against Bangladesh in Asia Cup Cricket 2023. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. You just heard the headlines and myself Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. Let's move on to the detailed stories.
আমরা বন্ধুত্ব কামনা করি সকলের সঙ্গে, কিন্তু কারোর মাস্টারি কামনা করি না, কারোর চোখ রাঙানি কামনা করি না।
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh has been maintaining a friendly relationship equally with all for the sake of uplifting the socio-economic condition of the people. The Premier was addressing the Bangladesh Navy and Bangladesh Air Force Selection Board 2023 at the Secretariat of Navy Chief in the city today. Sheikh Hasina said her government has successfully been improving the socio-economic condition of the country's people. She also extended her sincere thanks to the armed forces and all others concerned for their cooperation with the government's goal to improve the life of the people. The Prime Minister said Bangladesh has been moving forward following the friendship to all, malice to none policy, which has incorporated by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in the foreign policy.
যেহেতু আমরা আন্তর্জাতিকভাবে জাতিসংঘ আমাদের শান্তিরক্ষা বাহিনীতে আমাদের সশস্ত্র বাহিনী কাজ করে, আমার সবসময় একটা লক্ষ্য ছিল যে কোনো দিক থেকে যেন বাংলাদেশ পিছিয়ে না থাকে। কারোর সাথে আমরা যুদ্ধ করতে চাই না, আমরা শান্তিতে বাস করতে চাই, কিন্তু আমার স্বাধীনতা সার্বভৌমত্ব রক্ষার সব রকম প্রস্তুতি আমার থাকতে হবে। সেটাই হচ্ছে আমাদের সবচেয়ে বড় কথা। জাতির পিতা যে নীতি দিয়ে গেছেন সেই নীতি নিয়ে আমরা চলি বলেই আমরা সকলের সাথে সমানভাবে বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ সম্পর্ক রেখে আমাদের লক্ষ্য আমার দেশের মানুষ, তাদের আর্থসামাজিক উন্নতি, তারা যেন কোনো কষ্ট না পায় সেটা আমাদের দেখে এবং সেটা আমরা খুব সফলভাবে করে যাচ্ছি। দুর্যোগ মোকাবেলা থেকে শুরু করে প্রতিটি ক্ষেত্রে আমাদের সশস্ত্র বাহিনী মানুষের পাশে যেভাবে দাঁড়ান, মানুষের কাছে থাকেন, মানুষের একটা আস্থা বিশ্বাস অর্জন করতে পেরেছেন, এটাই সব থেকে বড় কথা। কাজে আমরা সেভাবে কাজ করে যাচ্ছি। অনেক সময় আমরা দেখেছি হয়তো লেখাপড়া খুব ভালো হতে পারে না, কিন্তু যে কোনো সময় সিদ্ধান্ত দিতে পারদর্শী হয় এবং যে কোনো পরিস্থিতিতে উপস্থিত বুদ্ধি দিয়ে কাজ করে সাফল্য অর্জন করতে পারে। সেই ধরনের নেতৃত্বকেও আপনারা কিন্তু বেছে নেবেন, কারণ আমরা এটাই চাই যে আমাদের মুক্তিযুদ্ধের যে চেতনা, যে আদর্শ এবং যে লক্ষ্য নিয়ে জাতিপিতা দেশ স্বাধীন করেছিলেন, সেই আদর্শে যারা দীক্ষিত, যাদের ভিতরে দেশপ্রেম আছে, দায়িত্ববোধ আছে, তাদেরকেই নেতৃত্বে নিয়ে আসা একান্তভাবে দরকার। আমাদের এই বাহিনীগুলি তো একটা সুশৃঙ্খল বাহিনী, শৃঙ্খলা মেনে যারা চলে, নীতিমালা মেনে যারা চলবে, তাদেরকেই আমরা চাই যে তারা এই নেতৃত্বে আসুক।
Navy Chief Vice Admiral M. Najmul Hassan has been promoted to the post of Admiral. On the occasion, Acting Army Chief Lieutenant General Ataul Hakim Sarwar Hassan and Air Force Chief Air Chief Marshal Abdul Hannan adorned the Navy Chief with the rank badge of the Admiral post in presence of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at Gano Bhavan today. Prime Minister's Principal Secretary Tofazal Hussain Mia, Principal Staff Officer of the Armed Forces Division, Lieutenant General Waqaruzzaman, and Senior Secretary to the Defence Ministry Ghulam Muhammad Hasibul Alam were present on the occasion. It may be mentioned that Admiral Najmul Hassan took charge of the Navy Chief on 24th of July last. A condolence motion was adopted today in the Jatiya সংসদ unanimously on the death of renowned personalities of the society, including Parliament members Mohammad Abdul Quddus and Rebecca Momin. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry moved the condolence motion when the sitting of the 24th session of the 11th Jatiya সংসদ began with the Speaker in the chair. Taking part during the condolence motion, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina recalled Parliament members Abdul Quddus and Rebecca Momin's role as politicians. She said that they have always worked for the welfare of the people. The Premier said the politics of Awami League is for the welfare of the people. She said that the government is working for the welfare of the people of the country since the formation of the government. The Leader of the House asked all Parliament members to serve the people of their area with dedication.
যে লক্ষ্য নিয়ে এই বাংলাদেশ স্বাধীন হয়েছে সেই স্বাধীনতার সুফল বাংলার মানুষের ঘরে পৌঁছে দেওয়া এটাই আমাদের একমাত্র লক্ষ্য। আজকে বাংলাদেশকে আমরা উন্নয়নশীল দেশের মর্যাদা উন্নীত করতে পেরেছি, কিন্তু আমাদের বাংলাদেশকে আরো উন্নত করতে হবে। সেজন্য সকলেই নিবেদিত প্রাণ হয়ে প্রত্যেকে যার নিজ নিজ এলাকা সে মানুষের সেবা করে যাবে, এটাই আমি চাই। মানুষের সেবা করার মধ্যেই সব থেকে বড় পাওয়া, এর থেকে বড় কিছু না। এবং রাজনৈতিক নেতাদের জন্য এটাই হচ্ছে সব থেকে বেশি প্রয়োজন। আজকে আমরা যাদের হারিয়েছি তারা অবদান রেখে গেছেন, যে কারণেই আমরা এতদূর আসতে পেরেছি। আল্লাহ রাব্বুল আলামিন সবাইকে বেহেশত নসিব করুন, সেটাই আমরা চাই।
Earlier, Deputy Leader of the House, Begum Muthiah Chaudhry, Parliament members Amir Hussain Amu and Tufail Ahmed, among others, took part in the discussion. Later, 1 minute silence was observed and munajat offered, seeking eternal peace of the departed souls. Earlier at the beginning of the session, a 5-member panel chairman for the 24th session of the 11th Jatiya সংসদ was nominated by Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry. The panel members are Dipankar Talukdar, A.B. Tajul Islam, Murshid Alam, Anisul Islam Mahmood and Adiba Anjum Mita. The panel members will chair the session according to the seniority in absence of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The sitting of the House will resume at 4:45 p.m. tomorrow. The 24th session of the 11th Parliament will continue till September 13. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Parliamentary Business Advisory Committee held at the Jatiya সংসদ Bhavan today. Chaired by Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry, the meeting was attended by Leader of the House and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Besides the committee members, Leader of the Opposition Begum Roshan Irshad, Amir Hussain Amu, Tufail Ahmed, Obaidul Qadir, Rashid Khan Menon, Hassanul Haq Inu, Deputy Speaker Mohammad Shamsul Haq Tuku, Anisul Haq, Anisul Islam Mahmood and Chief Whip Noor Alam Chaudhry attended the meeting. The meeting discussed the allocation of time for the execution of the proceedings of the 24th session of Parliament and the duration of the session. It was decided in the meeting that the Parliament session will start at 4:45 p.m. every day, except Friday and Saturday. The Speaker is empowered to make any changes relating to the timing and working day of the session if necessary. Senior Secretary of the Parliament Secretariat, K.M. Abdul Salam, moderated the meeting. Pakistan High Commissioner to Bangladesh Imran Ahmed Siddiqui paid his farewell call on President Mohammad Shahabuddin at Bongo Bhavan this noon. Later at a briefing, President's Press Secretary Mohammad Jainal Abidin said that during the meeting the envoy handed over a greeting letter of Pakistan President. He expressed gratitude to the President for extending cooperation in discharging duties in Bangladesh. President Mohammad Shahabuddin thanked the outgoing High Commissioner of Pakistan for successful completion of his tenure. President's Office Secretary Shampad Borua, Military Secretary Major General S.M. Salahuddin Islam and Secretary Attached Muhammad Wahidul Islam Khan were present. President Mohammad Shahabuddin leaves Dhaka tomorrow for Indonesia to join the 43rd ASEAN Summit and 18th East Asia Summit. A regular aircraft of the Biman Bangladesh Airlines carrying the President along with other entourage members is scheduled to depart Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport for Jakarta at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. The 43rd ASEAN Summit will begin on September 5 at the Jakarta Convention Center. 24 countries, including ASEAN member countries and its sectoral dialogue partners, will participate in the three-day conference. The President will attend the summit at the special invitation of the President of Indonesia and ASEAN Chair. During his stay in Indonesia, President Mohammad Shahabuddin will also attend the 18th East Asia Summit at the Jakarta Convention Center on September 7 at the invitation of the ASEAN Chair, Indonesia. Besides attending the ASEAN and East Asia Summit, the President is scheduled to hold talks with the heads of states and governments of different countries, including the President of Indonesia. After attending the ASEAN and East Asia Summit, President Mohammad Shahabuddin will go to Singapore on September 8 for his medical checkup. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Badul Qadir has said BNP, which is isolated from the country's people due to its wrong politics, is trying to foil the democratic advancement of the country. For this reason, they are now involved in hatching intrigues to make the next general polls questionable. Since BNP is afraid of facing people, the party has taken the path of conspiracy. He said this statement today, condemning the recent statements of BNP leaders as shameless lies. Badul Qadir said BNP leaders are making statements with intent about the announcement of the next parliamentary election schedule. BNP's continuous plots and ill efforts to capture the state power through backdoor have been exposed in these statements. Elections are neither held for any particular party nor wait for any party. In line with the country's constitution, elections will be held on time through exercise of voting rights of people, he added. Awami League General Secretary said BNP, which was formed incorporating anti-independence forces, war criminals and foreign agents under the leadership of military dictator Ziaur Rahman, never holds the spirit of democracy. BNP has repeatedly taken the path of seizing power through backdoor. There is no commitment in the political philosophy of BNP to improve the fate of commoners, he said, adding that whenever BNP came to power, it exploited the country's people and established the reign of corruption. So, the development and progress of the country is not visible to them. They have made negative comments about the mega projects that have been implemented so far, he said. The Awami League General Secretary said BNP's irritation over the development and progress of this country proves that they do politics only for capturing the state power, not for people's welfare. Badul Qadir said independence came under the leadership of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and economic liberation under the leadership of Bangabandhu's daughter, Sheikh Hasina. Awami League is committed to creating a strong foundation of democracy, development and prosperity in this country, Badul Qadir added. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hasan Mahmood has said BNP's main intention is to undermine and destroy the constitutional continuity and democracy. BNP made the ill attempts in 2014. They had also tried to make 2018's polls questionable. The minister said this while replying to journalists at the Secretariat today.
Bangladesh Awami League Nirbachan Commission যে সময়সূচি দিয়ে নির্বাচন তারিখ ঘোষণা করবে বা তফসিল ঘোষণা করবে সে অনুযায়ী নির্বাচন করার জন্য আমরা প্রস্তুত আছি। বিএনপির উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে সাংবিধানিক ধারাবাহিকতা, গণতন্ত্রকে ভুলুণ্ঠিত করা, ধূলিসাৎ করা, এটি তাদের উদ্দেশ্য। যেটি তারা 2014 সালে করার চেষ্টা করেছিল, 18 সালে নির্বাচনে গিয়েও নির্বাচনকে প্রশ্নবিদ্ধ করার অপচেষ্টা চালিয়েছে। এখন তাদের সেই 14 সালের সেই ধরনের প্রচেষ্টা তাদের পক্ষে করা কখনো সম্ভবপর নয়। সেই অপচেষ্টা চালালে দেশের জনগণ প্রতিহত করবে। বিএনপি নেতারা নির্বাচন বর্জন করতে পারে, যে কোনো রাজনৈতিক দলের নির্বাচন বর্জন করার বা নির্বাচনে অংশগ্রহণ করার অধিকার আছে। বিএনপি যদি একটি দায়িত্বশীল দল হয় তাহলে অবশ্যই তাদের নির্বাচনে অংশগ্রহণ করা উচিত, কারণ গণতন্ত্রকে সংহত করা, গণতন্ত্রের অভিযাত্রাকে অব্যাহত রাখা সেটি সব রাজনৈতিক দলের দায়িত্ব। এরপরও যে কোনো রাজনৈতিক দল নির্বাচন বর্জন করার অধিকার রাখে, কিন্তু তাই বলে নির্বাচন প্রতিহত করার অপচেষ্টা চালানো হলে দেশের মানুষ সেটি কঠোর হস্তে দমন করবে।
Regarding letters of foreigners over Dr. Yunus, Dr. Hasan Mahmood said, making statements about the judicial process of any country is tantamount to interference in the sovereignty of the country. That is why countries' conscious citizens and journalists have made statements against it, he continued.
এই দেশের সাবেক প্রধানমন্ত্রীর বিচার হয়েছে এবং তিনি সাজা ভোগ করছেন, এবং পৃথিবীর বিভিন্ন দেশে নোবেল লরিয়েটের বিচার হয়েছে এবং তারা জেলও খেটেছেন, এমন ঘটনা আছে। তা আমাদের বিচার প্রক্রিয়া অত্যন্ত স্বচ্ছ। ডক্টর মোহাম্মদ ইউনূস সাহেব, তার প্রতি আমি যথাযথ সম্মান এবং শ্রদ্ধা রেখেই বলতে চাই, সত্যটা হচ্ছে এই, শ্রমিকদের 5% হারে লভ্যাংশ দেওয়ার কথা ছিল, যেটি মূল্য হচ্ছে 1200 কোটি টাকা। সেটি তিনি জালিয়াতির মাধ্যমে এবং ঘুষ প্রদান করে সেটিকে 400 কোটি টাকায় নামিয়েছিল, সেটিও তিনি প্রদান করেননি। সেজন্য বিচার হচ্ছে। আরও অনেক মামলা আছে, তো কেউ তো আইনের বিচারের ঊর্ধ্বে নয়। মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রে ডোনাল্ড ট্রাম্পের বিচার হচ্ছে, মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের প্রেসিডেন্ট ছিল, তো কেউ বিচারের বা আইনের ঊর্ধ্বে নয়। তো আমাদের দেশের বিচার প্রক্রিয়া নিয়ে বিবৃতি দেওয়া, এটি তো আমাদের দেশের স্বাধীনতা, সার্বভৌমত্ব, এটার উপর হস্তক্ষেপের শামিল। সেই জন্যই বাংলাদেশের সচেতন নাগরিক সমাজ এবং সাংবাদিকরা এর বিরুদ্ধে বিবৃতি দিয়েছে।
Movement of vehicles has started on the first elevated expressway of the country from this morning. It takes only 10 to 12 minutes for the commuters to travel from Airport Road to Farm Gate in the capital. Talking to BTV, passengers shared their tremendous experiences after using the expressway on the first day. Commuters said they do not need to spend hour after hour anymore due to traffic congestion. They said traffic congestion will be reduced more once the elevated expressway becomes completely operational and the speed of vehicular movement will increase on Airport Road. No 2 or 3-wheelers are allowed on the expressway. At the same time, no passerby will also be allowed. Toll collectors of the elevated expressway said numbers of vehicles started to increase as the day progressed, but number of private cars was more compared to other vehicles on the first day. Meanwhile, the elevated expressway in Chattogram city will be inaugurated at the end of October or in the first week of November this year. In the meantime, the project has marked 95% completion of construction work, including carpeting on 7 kilometers way. People will be able to travel between Lal Khan Bazaar to Shah Amanat International Airport by 20 minutes without any hassles upon completion of the elevated expressway. At the moment, it takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours to go to the airport from Lal Khan Bazar. As a result, sometimes passengers miss flights. The Chattogram Development Authority (CDA) kicked off the construction of the elevated expressway in 2019 at a cost of Taka 4,298 crore. There will be 14 ramps to get on and get off the elevated expressway. This expressway will directly connect the Bangabandhu Tunnel under the Karnafuli River. Now, international news. Ukraine's Air Force said early on Sunday it had destroyed 22 Russian drones in an overnight attack on the southern Odessa region. Russia launched several waves of attacks by Shahed 136, 131 from the south and southeast, Ukraine's Air Force wrote on Telegram. A total of 25 Iranian-made Shahed attack drones had been launched and 22 of them were destroyed by the Air Force in cooperation with the air defense of other components of the defense forces of Ukraine, it said. North Korea has announced that it conducted a simulated tactical nuclear attack drill with 2 long-range missiles equipped with mock atomic warheads. Reports said the drill was carried out early on Saturday to warn enemies that the country would be prepared in case of nuclear war and pledged again to bolster military deterrence against South Korea and the United States. The 2 cruise missiles carrying mock nuclear warheads were fired towards the West Sea of the peninsula and flew 1,500 kilometers at a preset altitude of 150 meters, it said. The launches were the latest in a series of missile tests and military exercises conducted by Pyongyang in recent weeks, including a failed spy satellite launch late last month. It came just after the joint annual summertime exercises between South Korea and the United States, known as Ulchi Freedom Shield, came to a close on Thursday after an 11-day run featuring air drills with B-1B bombers. Thousands of people have rallied against France in the Nigerian capital Niamey. They demanded France withdraw its ambassador and troops from the West African country as its new military rulers have accused the former colonial power of interference. The protesters gathered near military base housing French soldiers on Saturday after a call by several civic organizations hostile to the French military presence. They held up banners proclaiming, "French army, leave our country." According to security personnel, the protest was scheduled to begin about 3 p.m., but thousands of demonstrators had already gathered by 10 a.m., taking police and security forces by surprise. Niger's military government, which seized power on July 26, has accused French President Emmanuel Macron of using divisive rhetoric in his comments about the coup and seeking to impose a new colonial relationship with its former colony. Thousands of people were evacuated in Taiwan ahead of Typhoon Haikui, with hundreds of flights cancelled and businesses closed as authorities prepared Sunday for the first tropical storm to directly hit the island in 4 years. Haikui, which had already brought heavy rains by Sunday morning, is expected to make landfall by 5 p.m. in Tuitong, a mountainous county in the lesser populated eastern Taiwan. It is expected to pose a considerable threat to most areas in Taiwan with winds, rains and waves, said Deputy Director Fong Chin-soo, urging the public to be on guard. Authorities said they had evacuated more than 2,800 people across 7 cities, the majority of them from the mountainous county of Hualien, which neighbors Taitung. The military said mobilized soldiers and equipment such as amphibious vehicles and inflatable rubber boats around the parts of Taiwan where Haikui is expected to have the heaviest impact. Now some other international news in brief. U.S. President Joe Biden had surveyed the destruction caused by Hurricane Idalia in the state of Florida, but did not meet with Governor Ron DeSantis, a potential presidential rival who opted not to come. During the visit, Biden offered support and condolences to those affected by Idalia.
To the summit of
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is scheduled to meet Vladimir Putin on Monday, hoping to persuade the Russian leader to rejoin the Black Sea grain deal that Moscow broke off from in July.
Hopes on Turkey. Vladimir Putin will meet in Sochi. Agenda item of the summit meeting is expected to be
More than 100 people have been injured in clashes between rival groups of protesters from Eritrea in the Israeli city of Tel Aviv, with the police firing warning shots in the air to disperse the demonstrators. Pope Francis will show support for interfaith dialogue Sunday during his final full day in the Mongolian capital of Ulaanbaatar, a visit that has seen him seek to build bridges with China. Bill Richardson, a veteran Democratic politician and former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, who later spent decades negotiating the release of Americans detained around the world, he has died at the age of 75. Back to home news. There is no symptom of improvement in the dengue situation across the country, as over 2,000 have been infected and 16 died during the last 24 hours. A press release of the Directorate General of Health Services said among the dead, 8 were in Dhaka and 8 outside Dhaka. 2,606 dengue patients were admitted to different hospitals across the country during the last 24 hours. Among them, 892 dengue patients were hospitalized in Dhaka city and 1,716 patients outside Dhaka. Meanwhile, one patient died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The country reported 22 COVID-19 positive cases as 2,114 tested in the last 24 hours. Corona infection rate was reported at 1.04%. And now weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunderstorm showers accompanied by temporary gust of wind is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Mymensingh, Khulna, Borishal, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions. Besides, moderately heavy to heavy falls may occur at places over the country. Day and night temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, said the Met Office. And now sports news. Pakistan are now batting on the target of 335 runs to win against Bangladesh in the Asia Cup cricket. The Afghans scored 171 runs for 3 wickets in the 33 overs when reports last came in. Bangladesh won the toss and elected to bat first at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. Mehdi Hassan Mehraj and Najmul Hassan Shanto scored centuries as Bangladesh scored 334 runs for 5 wickets in 50 overs. This is the third highest total of the Tigers in ODIs. Mehdi Hassan Mehraj scored the second ODI century of his career and retired hurt for 112 runs. Apart from this, Najmul Hassan Shanto also scored the second ODI century and was dismissed for 104 runs. Bangladesh played out a goalless draw with visiting Afghanistan in the first match of the 2-match FIFA Tier 1 International Series held today at Bosundara King Arena in the city. The day's match was special in the football history of Bangladesh. National football team played a match in a club stadium for the first time. Jamal Bhuiya's team had the opportunity to make the day special, but they could not color the King's Arena with the victory. The two teams will meet in the second match at the same venue on September 7. To end the bulletin headlines once again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina calls on armed forces to prioritize those who believe in the spirit of liberation war and have patriotism in the case of promotion in armed forces. Condolence motion over deaths of members of Parliament Mohammad Abdul Quddus and Rebecca Momin adopted as 24th session of 11th Jatiyo সংসদ begins. President Mohammad Shahabuddin leaves Dhaka tomorrow for Indonesia to join 43rd ASEAN Summit and 18th East Asia Summit. BNP is busy in forging conspiracies to make election questionable and making intentional comments on election schedule, says Ubaidul Qadir. BNP intends to ruin constitutional continuity and democracy, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Movement of vehicles on the first elevated expressway of the country begins with drivers and passengers expressing positivity. Ukraine claims to have destroyed 22 Russian drones in an overnight attack on southern Odessa region. And Afghanistan batting for winning target of 335 runs against Bangladesh in Asia Cup Cricket 2023. And that's all